This is the Oxygen Recovery Group video. Hi, I'm Consumer Protection Attorney Bill Clanton, and I've helped hundreds of folks deal with inaccurate credit reporting, debt collection harassment, and other consumer-related matters. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Oxygen Recovery Group, ORG for short. They are a Spring Valley, New York-based third-party debt collector. They do not buy debt. They collect third-party debt on a contingent basis. They serve medical and dental practices, credit card debt. They collect residential property debt or rent debt. The way they collect that debt is pre-collection, skip tracing, private investigation services, judgment enforcement. They brag that they've got some of the most experienced private investigators in the industry. But they've gotten an F rating from the Better Business Bureau. They have 7 complaints at the Better Business Bureau, and they've gotten an F. So maybe these are not the best PIs in the industry, even if they are the most experienced. They have 4 complaints with the CFPB, and they've been sued 7 times. So they're fairly compliant. They've been around since 2011. They haven't been around a super long time, but that's a little bit less than one suit a year. Most of the suits are under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. The FDCPA protects people from debt collectors, third-party debt collectors specifically. That means debt collectors who collect on the behalf of other folks. And it also includes debt buyers. How does a company like ORG or the Oxygen Recovery Group violate the FDCPA? Well, they disclose the debt to third parties. They use profanity or obscenities when collecting the debt. They call you repeatedly or continuously. They make misrepresentations about the amount, the legal status, or the character of the debt. Sometimes companies like ORG will fail to report a debt that you dispute as disputed. And sometimes they'll try to collect fees or other amounts that are not included in the original contract. Another way that companies like ORG violate the FDCPA is in their notices about the debt. Now, when a debt collector begins to collect debt as part of their initial communication, or within 5 days of that initial communication, they have to give you, they're required by the law to give you the G notice. The G notice is part of 1692G, which is where the FDCPA is in the law, chapter or Title 15 of United States Code, section 1692. Subchapter G says that they have to give you a notice that includes the name of the current creditor, the amount of the debt, and information about how you can find out who the original creditor is, and how you can request verification and dispute the debt. Now, if they fail to give that notice or give it in a confusing or misleading way, then you have a cause of action or a case against them for those types of violations. Other letters following the initial letter could contain violations of the FDCPA. One particular thing to pay attention to is the amount of the debt that's in the letter versus the amount of debt that is reported on your credit report. If these two do not agree, if they're not the same number, then they're making a misleading representation about the amount of the debt. 2 other laws that apply are the TCPA, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, and the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or the FCRA. Under the TCPA, if they use an auto dialer, they cannot call your cell phone unless they have your permission, and you can revoke your permission. If they use an auto dialer to call your cell phone, that's a violation of the law. And each violation, there's a penalty of $500, and if you can show they did it knowingly or willfully, there's a penalty of up to $1,500. So the penalties are steep. The third law is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The FCRA says that if ORG is going to report your information on your credit report, they have to make sure it's accurate and complete. If it's not accurate and complete, they have to update it. But you have to notify them of the inaccuracy by disputing it with the credit reporting agencies or directly with org. If after that dispute the information is still incorrect, then you have the right to sue them at that point. Look, these are all powerful laws, and I want to put them to use for you. So if you're ready to turn the tables on org, give me a call. I want to fight for you. My number is 210-226-0800. Thanks for watching.